The Houston Rockets have a talented young core, full of guys like Kevin Porter Jr., looking poised to make waves in the next few years. But just like that, Porter ruined his NBA career.
Houston Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. walked out of the 17th precinct to an awaiting police cruiser. Porter Jr. is facing assault and strangulation charges for an alleged attack inside the Millennium Hotel.
On September 11th, police responded to a 911 call from a New York hotel. He was arrested after allegedly attacking his girlfriend, Kysre Gondrezick. These actions are inexcusable, and if the allegations are found to be true, there is no team in the NBA that would take a chance on him in this day and age. Kevin Porter Jr.'s career is all but over, all because of one terrible decision. At this point, the allegations are just that. Allegations. Citizens are innocent until proven guilty, but it's starting to look like the writing's on the wall, especially when you hear about his past. Kevin Porter Jr.'s past transgressions. Porter's issues began as far back as college, when he was suspended by USC for unclear personal conduct issues. He was still drafted in the first round of the 2019 draft, but the issues didn't stop there. Back in 2020, Porter was accused of attacking a woman in downtown Cleveland. The woman was allegedly in an argument with Porter's sister, so he ripped out her weave and punched the woman in the face. He was never charged for that incident. He was busted for having a loaded gun in his car after getting into an accident. Near the end of his first season with the Cavs, things got even rockier. When his locker had been given to somebody else, he became aggressive with the Cavs GM Kobe Altman, screaming and throwing things across the room. Even after calming down, he remained combative. Altman told him to clean out his locker. He was done in Cleveland. In April 2021, after being traded to the Rockets, he was fined for breaking COVID protocol by going to a Miami strip club. A year later, the Rockets themselves suspended for losing his temper on coach Stephen Silas. From the jump, Porter Jr.'s had issues with the law. Some of that might go back to his childhood. Many people have assumed that Porter is the son of former NBA player Kevin Porter, the four-time assist champ from the 1970s. In fact, the Wizards announcer, Glenn Consor, got into some hot water for making that assumption during the broadcast. But really, it was a lot worse than it seemed. Consor said Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled the trigger right at the right time.
Kevin Porter Jr., like his dad, pulled that trigger right at the right time. Boy, that one stung.
A pretty harmless statement if your dad's a former NBA player. But that's not the case for Porter Jr. His actual dad, Brian Kevin Porter Sr., had been convicted of manslaughter in 1993 after being involved in a shooting that left a 14-year-old girl dead. Tragically, that wasn't the last act of gun violence in Porter Sr.'s life. He was shot dead in 2004 when Porter Jr. was only 4 years old. It's hard to be raised by a single mother, knowing that your father was convicted of a crime. But Porter Jr.'s alleged actions are inexcusable, a disgusting act that should keep him out of the league forever. Before we get to the details of his arrest, be warned, some of it can be hard to hear. Porter Jr.'s alleged assault. Porter Jr. and his then-girlfriend, Kysre Gondrezick, were staying in a New York City hotel the night of September 10th. She was a WNBA player, the fourth pick in the 2021 WNBA draft. Porter Jr. allegedly arrived home late into the night, which upset his 26-year-old girlfriend. They allegedly began to argue, leading to Porter attacking her. When police arrived at 6:45 a.m., she was left with a fractured neck vertebrae and a cut over her right eye. According to prosecutors, Porter didn't stop his attack until she was covered in blood and fled to the hallway. Gondrezick told police that he punched her again and again with a closed fist right into her head, causing that gash above her right eye. He then allegedly gripped her neck so tightly that she couldn't breathe, resulting in redness and bruising around her neck. She told police that she couldn't even feel her right arm. Porter was immediately arrested. He then pled not guilty to felony charges of assault and strangulation. were released at a $100,000 bond and $75,000 cash bail, according to the Associated Press. From her Twitter page, we see that the two began dating around February 2022. And this isn't the first time that things have gotten physical between Porter and Gondrezick. According to District Attorney Mira Kysre, Porter has a history of domestic abuse, once ramming his car into Gondrezick's. The Rockets quickly issued a statement saying they are in the process of gathering information surrounding the matter involving Kevin Porter Jr. after Gondrezick's lawyer released the following statement. Ms. Gondrezick wants to express her deep appreciation for the public's support and prayers. In regards to our client, much that has been written in the press attributing statements to her are misleading and inaccurate. She has not granted nor released any statements of her own volition. She asks everyone to respect her privacy and avoid speculation as to what occurred and refrain from disclosing any misleading statements as to Mr. Porter. She asks that the press and all officials refrain from any judgment and speculation on this matter, which will be rectified properly and with integrity. Thank you. So the exact events of the incident are still in the air, but that's what courts are for. Either way, Porter's career is effectively over. A few weeks removed from the incident, it came out that Gondrezick's fractured vertebrae was not from the attack, but from a congenital defect. With this new revelation, Porter Jr. asked the Manhattan DA to drop the second-degree assault charges. But even if those charges are dropped, he's facing a max of 7 years in prison with second-degree strangulation and third-degree assault. It should be clear, the focus must be placed on ensuring the victim's safety. But less importantly, the Rockets have Porter Jr. signed on to a $63.4 million deal. What are their options? Can the Rockets trade Porter Jr.? In the wake of these terrible actions, the Rockets are seeking to trade Kevin Porter Jr., or better put, trade his contract. The Rockets have 12 draft picks over the next 3 years, including 4 firsts. They'll likely use that as trade bait for somebody to take on Porter Jr.'s $15 million per year contract. A couple of reasons why they would do this. First, they can get cap room to sign a few more fringe players. They have a lot of picks stored up, and they have a lot of young talent. They don't really need to add more young players to the mix through the draft. They'd rather develop the guys they have, like Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Şengün, and Ahmed Thompson. They'd rather trade those picks in a package for 1 star. But in this case, they'd rather trade them away for any viable starter who's not facing prison time. Well, who could they trade to? Any team that has the cap space available to buy Porter Jr. out. It's unlikely anyone will actually carry him on their roster into the next season. So they need a trade partner with cap space and not a lot of young talent, a team that would want a package of draft picks to build. Think the Wizards, the Pacers, or the Hornets. Second, and maybe most importantly, they want Porter Jr. gone. He's already had his share of troubles in the league. After this, they don't want him in their facility. They don't want him on their roster. They don't want him at all. If trade negotiations fall short, which they probably will, he's going to be waived. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has the right to place Porter on leave with pay for a period of time per the league's domestic violence policy. Based on how the court finds Porter, Silver can fine, suspend, dismiss, or even ban Porter.
The allegations here are horrific, no question about it, but I don't know anything more, of course, about the actual facts other than reading those allegations. We have a domestic violence policy that was collectively bargained with the Players Association. Again, when I say bargain, I mean there was not a contentious issue. They certainly feel as strongly as we do about the issue.
The Houston Rockets would therefore only be responsible for the guaranteed portion of his salary, $16.9 million of the $64 million contract. Porter averaged 19 points and 6 assists per game last year, clocking 37% from 3. He's only 23 years old, one of the most important players on a team filled with young talent who wants to make a 2024 playoff push. But if the allegations are true, losing his stats is not what's important. This is a complex case with a lot of important things to consider, but it seems like Porter's career is over. What do you think the Rockets will do with him? Can they win without him? Let us know in the comments, then check out one of these videos next. Listen to The Wrong Opinion, useless NBA trivia, and garbage rankings for more NBA content.